Welcome. You're watching Agronomy and Economy. I'm Ryan Buetow.
And I'm Levi Helmuth.
I'm an NDSU Area Extension Specialist in Cropping Systems.
I'm an instructor with the North Dakota Farm Business Management Program, employee of BSC.
And today is April 13th, 2016. I'll get right into the markets.
Alright, moving into the markets, WASDE report came out today. Ending stocks from this report were very close to traders' earlier expectations, so not a lot of movement off of that. Farm futures indicated this means traders' focus has shifted from old crop to new crop as far as both acres that are expected to be planted and the growing conditions for those crops. In the wheat market, May MDX contracts trading 510s to 520s, which is above the 2015 cost of production of $4.95 a bushel. However, average regional basis has been 78 cents, pushing spot prices below the typical cost of production. And corn rallied in the month of April, started off in the 340s, spiked at 374 today, currently trading in the 370s. Most of what I read said this rally is based off a rally in soybeans and good news from Wall Street. So if a major price rally does happen again, it'll probably occur this summer in June or July. Whether or not that price rally comes and how high that rally is, that has to be a risk that you, the producer, are willing to take if you're looking at marketing your crop. I know some producers are already contracting, and in basketball we always said a W is a W, and in the same sense, profit is profit. So if you're looking to lock in profit and you look at what your cost of productions are and you can lock in a profit off the prices on the board, I think it would be prudent to look at locking in 50 to 75% of your crop, especially based off of what your farm's financial situation is off of the dismal economic events of 2015 with the way crop commodity prices were last fall. Regional spot prices for southwest North Dakota. Hard red spring wheat, $4.41. Hard red winter, $3.59. Durum, $6.01. Corn, $3.04. Canola, $14.57. Oil sunflowers, $14.15. Moving to the livestock sector, June live cattle contracts are trading 120 to 125, trending lower the last couple days into the 120s. May feeder cattle 150s to 140s, trending lower the last 3 days, currently in the 140s. Moving through the month of April and into May means we're approaching the spring grilling season, which is traditionally a boon to livestock markets of cattle, pork, and chicken. Right now I expect the April and May for producers to be profitable months for producers, guys looking to market their calves, and for those prices to trend lower as we do move into June, which that's off that cattle facts report. I'm agreeing with what that's had to say, and looking into June it's proving true that way. Cash prices for cattle based off the USD report for the month of April so far. Steers 400 weights $205. 500 weights, $191. 600 weights, $171. 700 weights, $157. 800 weights, $144. 900 weights, $136. Heifers, 400 weights, $179. 500 weights, $169. 600 weights, $152. 700 weights, $139. 800 weights, $137. And 900 weights, $129. And that's where the markets are at.
All right. Today we're going to talk to you for our topic of the day a bit about noxious weeds. By North Dakota law, all landowners must control noxious weeds on their land. And there's a reason that these weeds are noxious. They can really take over an area quickly.
Yeah, you definitely have an economic incentive to control these weeds. They can greatly have a detrimental impact to the productivity on your land. On pasture land, leafy spurge is something that's commonly talked about. I know on wheat, Canadian thistle is often a problem. So you're paying rent for this ground. I mean, this land that you own, it's an asset. You either own it or you rent it. It's an asset. It's part of your farm portfolio. And land rent was the second largest expense in 2015 year. And on owned ground, you borrowed money to buy that ground, so you're paying interest. You got to cover these expenses, either the interest or the land rent expense. So you need to see a return on asset, ROA. And so you want to see the best possible return on your assets, because otherwise, why are these assets in your portfolio? It would be the economic look at that. So to get the best possible return, you're maybe going to have to incur some short-term costs for control methods. To trade off with that is the long-term productivity benefits that you see from keeping that leafy spurge or Canadian thistle or various weeds contained and controlled.
And that biggest expense was fertilizer, correct?
It was. That's correct.
And if you're putting fertilizer out in a field full of leafy spurge, you're not really going to be getting the most out of that fertilizer, are you?
That's absolutely right. You want that, you're incurring that expense, and that's supposed to be going to your productivity. So it's a 2-for-1 hit with your productivity. It's either not going to your crop, that weed's taking away from all those nutrients, and water is a big one. We're possibly worried about drought this year, and that those weeds are going to soak up vital water that should be going to your crop to put a coin in your pocket.
Definitely. And these weeds, there's all the list and all the information you need on noxious weeds at the North Dakota Department of Ag website. These weeds are absinthe wormwood, Canada thistle, musk thistle, both Dalmatian and yellow-toed flax. You have the knapweeds, diffuse, spotted, and Russian knapweed, along with leafy spurge that you mentioned, and purple loosestrife, and salt cedar. And all the control methods that you need to control these noxious weeds can be found in your North Dakota Weed Control Guide, but proper identification is vital for controlling these weeds.
Yeah, you definitely want to know what you're dealing with. I mean, we talked about weed control earlier, so you want to know if it's just your kind of run-of-the-mill, maybe it's the kochia, which is this year's weed of the year.
Correct.
So you want to know what kind of weeds you're up against, and especially if they're noxious for a reason, as you said. I mean, this is kind of the agronomist's top most wanted list.
Definitely, yeah. So look out for those outlaws out there and control your noxious weeds. That's all we have for you today. Have a good one.
Thanks for stopping by.